My name's Adam Natali. I'm the director of SVA Theater here at the School of Visual Arts. And this is the 2016 After School Special. It's School of Visual Arts' annual free alumni film and animation festival. We have been going strong since Thursday. I'm almost done, but we have some screenings tomorrow. If you want to catch them, if you're an animation fan and you never got to see Beauty and the Beast on the big screen, we're doing a 25th anniversary screening tomorrow with one of the animators live via Skype. And then after that, there's a really cool documentary that incorporates both animation and film called Trans Fatty Lives. It won the audience award at Tribeca Film Festival last year. And then we're going to show the Emmys on the big screen. So if you feel like watching award shows on, a huge screen, probably maybe even in the other theater, which is bigger screen, come back to that. But tonight, we are here for Titmouse. You're all big fans of that. We do have something special, though, beforehand. We have a short film by a graduate by the name of Jaime Ekkens. And Jamie's a graduate of our MFA Computer Art Department. And it's a really funny short film that I think goes really well with everything else you're going to see tonight. You're going to see a really eclectic mix of stuff tonight. And we're going to keep it fast and loose. The Titmouse crew is going to be up here, and they're going to be picking and choosing some stuff to play. We even called my parents this morning and had them bring a VCR in because we're going to show some stuff on VHS. So we got a really nice mix of shit. So I first want to bring up our moderator for this evening, Sonia von Marensdorf, who is a current student in BFA Animation, and she's going to do a quick interview with Jaime, and then we're going to show Jamie's short, and then we'll bring the Titmouse guys up here. So take it away, Jaime and Sonia. Just grab those mics.
On position, sounds like it. Hi, Jaime. Thanks for being here tonight. Can you just tell us a little bit about your time at SVA to start us off?
I moved to New York in 2007. Can't believe it's been almost 10 years. I chose SVA because of their interdisciplinary. I incorporate a lot of video and a lot of mixed media, and computer art was a program that I could do that in.
Great. Would you like to talk a little bit about the film that you're going to show tonight?
The film that I'm going to show tonight, my voice actor is in the audience. He's right there. And he reads verbatim some of the bad online dating messages that I have received over the last few years, being on OkCupid and a few other sites. And yes, it's really that bad. And I think that everybody, particularly the young women in the audience, will get a good laugh.
I think you're right about that. To go back just a little bit, can you tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing at SVA since you graduated, leading up to the film that we're going to see tonight?
I started making films a couple years ago. I had one film, my first real independent film. I was about to turn 30, and I had been working in post-production for pretty much all of my professional career, and I hadn't made a film since my thesis. And I was starting to get to the point where when you're in post, you always get the films at the very ending stages, and I was just kind of getting to the point where I was thinking, is this really all there is to life? So I made my first short. It was a 4-minute film. It was about a friend of mine who has Asperger's syndrome, and it ended up doing very, very well on the festival circuit. It currently has distribution right now with Sprout Media, and it's toured the country with Sprout and with Real Abilities, that film festival, and 80+ international film festivals from all over. So, I mean, once you start, you kind of can't stop, and this is number 3, so.
That's fantastic. Of short films since you graduated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give her a hand for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we're all really excited to take a look at single Asian female. And I think without further ado, we should watch it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie.
So I want to thank Jamie for that. That was awesome. Congratulations. She has a really wide range of shorts. I encourage you to check out her work, and she'll stick around afterwards if you want to ask her any questions. But let's bring that Titmouse crew and Sonia up to the stage, and we're going to see some crazy stuff. There's some stuff tonight where Chris Prynoksi, guy in the hat, is going to say, we're like bleeping this out kind of thing. It's some special stuff that he's going to show you that no one else can really know about. So we're recording this tonight. So if you ask a question, please come up to the microphone here, or there's one on the other side, and I'll place this. So definitely come up to the mic. Wait until they start talking a little bit to ask some questions. But Sonia's going to ask them some questions too. But we are going to get you on the mic on the recording, but we're going to bleep out certain portions of this that can't be made public. So take it away, Sonia and Titmouse crew. So Jody, James, Chris, Sonia.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh.
Are we going to start with drawings right away?
Man, we can do whatever.
Okay.
What you want to do?
All right, well, that's the after-school special, so we should probably go a little bit over everybody's time at SVA. I think we'd really like to hear about that. Do you want to start, Chris?
Yes. So, first off, to add to the sentiment, thanks for coming out tonight. I know it's a little crazy with that explosion and stuff, and but whoever did that, if they're bad guys or if they're assholes, they don't want us to be having fun. But we're gonna show them. We're gonna have some fun, right? Cartoon fun. So who knows? So I think what I'll do, right? We're gonna do this. There's not much superstructure to this. There's like a slight structure. We got some stuff on videotapes. We got some stuff on the computer. We got some drawings that are being drawn on pieces of paper, and there's more stuff that we could show. So I think what we're gonna do is kind of go through, like, start with some school time and some early history of Titmouse, show some stuff, and then we're gonna do questions, and then the people who ask questions will get a drawing that's being drawn. And at some point, I think we'll go back and forth. Maybe during the question time, you'll see the drawings happening, so maybe you'll get to see what the drawings are. But I think first, right, maybe we'll just show like a general Titmouse reel in case you're not familiar with that stuff. So can I get the computer up there? You got the computer? I'll try and put the computer. All right, so this is, you know what this is? This is our brand new, we just did a movie, and we redid our little title card to be more like a fancy movie. And the idea is, like, it's supposed to look like one of those fancy movies. Kind of the joke is, like, it's a big, dumb, fancy movie thing, but it still ends like the way our title card ends. So here you go. Oh, that's not the right one. Let me see. Is this the right one? So still dumb, still has the dumb ending there. Oh, that's the handle. That's what we put at the end. Oh, and then check this out. You're going to get to see what. Oh, no, you're not drawing under the camera. What are you doing? Look.
I think you got that window in front of the...
Look at that. Whoa, there you go. There's a camera. You'll be able to see that eventually. But in the meantime...
It's going to be upside down?
Is it upside? You're going to see a drawing that's being drawn upside down. That's how well we planned this. You could. Look at that. Look at what you're doing. All right, neat. All right, so
The big Bane.
I'll bring up. Let me bring up a reel here. Oh, you want to draw something?
I don't care. Whatever you're doing.
Well, why don't you draw a little something since it's up there?
Okay, well, you're going to talk?
Well, just draw a little something.
How little?
I don't know. I mean, just start to draw so they can see, and then I'll cover it up just as you start. What is it going to be? Nobody knows. We're going to show this now. Yeah. All right, ready? This is just a general reel. and then we'll reveal afterwards this drawing. So that's like a kind of relatively recent general real work. Now, what did Chris Garrison draw? Whoa, look at that. It's a bee about to be crushed by a human foot.
Why is it sideways?
We don't know how this works. We're still figuring it out. Who can know how this is going to
You'd have
work?
to
No,
draw
see, the problem is, no,
around
you
the
got it.
character.
All right, well, there we go. All right, so look at that. So why don't we go into a little history here? So maybe we'll show some stuff off the videotapes. So I'm going to talk up to the control room. I'm going to show a little bit of a student film that I did that, we went to school in the 90s, Chris and Jody and I. So this film, I was a big fan of like Ralph Bakshi. He was one of the first guys that hired the likes of us too. We thought we were going to be like, not ever be the man and be like independent New York animators, and that's what I tried to reflect in this film. I'll show you a little bit. It's too long. It's a student film. You don't want to watch the whole thing. But I'll show you a little bit of the beginning. So you guys want to roll that? So then this kid ends up going to visit his grandfather in an old age home and realizes like old people are nice and cool. But that's like, it takes like another 10 minutes. So we'll cut this film off right now. And then, look at that. Look at this crazy drawing that's happening that James is doing right here.
It's my MO, crazy.
There you go. What are you drawing there, James? What's happening here?
Worm dude, and there's Jerry Colonna going, ah, yes, disgusting, isn't it?
All right, there you go. So what I'll do is I'll show you the end title card from that film, cut right to the end, which is the first time I used any version of a Titmouse end title card. So look, that's off the VHS tape. So that was the original Titmouse title card there. And at some point, I started making T-shirts at some point. I'm going to put one of the T-shirt designs up here, if I could find it on the computer. So let's see here. We got something. Is this it? This might be it. Let's see. So I'm going to drag this over. So this was the first Titmouse T-shirt. All right. So it was like the idea was like a mouse with boobs for ears. And this was done in the 90s. And
Titmouse, get it?
yeah, you get it. And then here's another one. This one was like a parody of a popular animation studio. If you get that one. I used to work at Disney and wear that shirt, and no one seemed to notice that it wasn't a Disney T-shirt. Here's another version. This one you could see my armpit stains from. That happens when you wear antiperspirant. It like clogs your armpits with like aluminum, I think, aluminum shavings. Yeah, so that's what that is right there. So anyway, started look at that crazy thing. Wow. Sure. So check it out. So we graduated, started doing. So I started working at MTV on stuff, and started working on that Beavis and Butthead that was going on in the city back then. So I'm going to show you another thing off a VHS tape, which is a.
Don't forget to sign them, guys.
Yeah, you got to sign them. What are you doing?
When you see them at the convention.
We're going to show a clip off a VHS tape, which is like a Beavis and Butthead behind-the-scenes video. You'll see me as a young lad talking about animation. So there you go. So I think on another one of these tapes we have, that sequence, I think it was 45 seconds in the film, but we animated something, there was a bunch of versions, but I have one cut of it.
You were 22.
Yeah.
And you were like in charge of animating a sequence in a huge Hollywood feature film.
That's how dumb they were.
And it was like, didn't it win a big Oscar or some crap?
No, that didn't win any Oscars.
It didn't win something.
That film didn't win any
Didn't the
Oscars.
segment
It won
something?
awards like from cartoon guys.
It won awards from cartoon guys, and you're a kid, and it's all everybody knows.
Listen to my tiny voice. Could you hear my tiny voice?
and it was the best part of the movie as well.
Oh, well,
No,
thanks.
I remember
Well, check it out.
I saw that when I was like 13
The
years
reason
old.
the reason
10
it
years-
was
10 years,
it
20
played
years
well in the
ago.
movie is because it was cut down to 45 seconds, and I think what we have on another VHS tape is a weird old cut of it that's like 2.5 minutes long. So if you want to see like a weird rough cut of it that you can't see, I've tried to put it up on YouTube a couple of times and they take it down every time. So this is one of the only places you could see it. This is. Well, whatever.
This
I
was
don't
also
care.
I
You
gotta
show
add,
this.
This,
I don't
this
care.
was my first gig in the animation business because Chris just hired all his friends.
So that was a early cut of that sequence. So check it out. Let's see. What should we go to next?
Chris, do you mind if we talk a little bit about maybe how you got from graduation to working on that film and how you roped Jody into it?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, back then it was kind of like now. There was like an animation boom, and they were just hiring, and they pretty much would hire anybody. And that's
Which is
pretty
the
much
only
it.
way I
Like I
could have
just
gotten a
started
job.
there, and and Jody, like I was like, hey, you should come work here, and no one seemed to question it. It's like just hire my friend Jody. They're like, okay, you need to see his portfolio? No, he's hired, and it was like ridiculously easy. Well, Chris Garrison and I, and another friend ended up getting hired by Ralph Bakshi. And I thought, like, oh, that was my thing. I wanted to work on Ralph Bakshi stuff. It's like, I'll just work at MTV for like 2 weeks and then like start on my Ralph Bakshi job. And then it was like a cartoon. When I went to Ralph Bakshi's studio, kind of the door was like kind of open and you push it open and like it was empty with like papers blown around like tumbleweeds. And he had like skipped down and shut down his studio. And I like hot-footed it back to MTV. And it's like, you still need people. And they did. And there you go.
And you showed my sketchbook around.
Ah, that's probably it.
And that was how I got
Yeah.
the gig there.
Okay.
Which
There you go.
I wasn't completely blind.
Ah.
sketchbooks are things we drew in before.
Yeah, before you had
They were
an
very big,
iPad.
yeah, exactly.
So
I didn't get hired by Ralph Bakshi, but I went to talk to him.
you didn't get hired by? I
No.
thought you got hired too. See,
No.
I got hired by him, but never actually started because
Oh.
you
Cheese was the one to work for him.
for like a week.
Mark
and then-
Hasselberger worked
yeah,
for him.
yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was more than a week. But I went in and I talked
Maybe
to him.
2 weeks.
And he was like, he said, you know how I lost all my teeth?
Yeah.
Well, I got these dentures. I said, why? He said, I was high on cocaine, driving at 80 miles an hour in a Ferrari with Kim Bassner in the passenger seat, and I ran into a wall.
I've heard that story, probably from you
Oh, maybe so.
and other people. I've also heard other stories of how he's lost his teeth.
Yeah, that could be a lie.
Yeah, I think he makes them up. Anyway, so I'll show you a little bit. So I worked on Beavis and Butthead and The Head and Daria and a bunch of things and some pilots. And at one time I pitched a show called Crafty Ed and His Hep Teens that I spent a lot of work on. And it was like kind of like similar to that Mike Tyson's mystery show that's out now, like kids driving around in a van solving crime. And they didn't like it, but they were like, why don't you just make something like your student film with those kids in the city? So I did that. And here's a clip from that. It was called Downtown. I'll show you like a little clip from that. So this was I was a real fan of those Bakshi films and how they really felt like they were made in the 70s. And at the time, I didn't tell MTV this, but I was like, I want to make a film that really feels like it's New York in like 1999 and tried to like make it accurate to the time period, which I think it feels. It feels good and dated now, right? So anyway, so after that show was canceled, moved out to LA, and I thought it would be fun to start selling those T-shirts on the internet that I was making, and made this one weird thing. You know, Flash was starting to get big, so I was like, I'll make a Flash cartoon. I think I made this all in one day. It's all just little pieces. You know, we're done with like little puppets. I'm gonna actually show you the Flash file, which is crazy. The actual like Swift, not a QuickTime movie. This one might be loud. I don't know. But this was like the commercial for the selling the T-shirts on the internet. So that was the early days of Flash in the year 2000. Look at that, a Flash cartoon. What's happening here?
It's a bratwurst.
That's a bratwurst. I get it.
A little sausage.
I get it. So, T-shirts. So then we started working with our friends more. Jody here. We beforehand. So all right, I'm gonna try and play something off the internet, off YouTube, because I forgot to download it and put it on this thing. So one of the jobs I worked on with our Chris Garrison here was a movie called Freddy Got Fingered, which is an old Tom Green movie. I got to do the drawings for that movie, which I can say one of my career highlights was Tom Green Rip Torn jammed one of my drawings up his ass in one of the scenes, which was kind of cool, a physical drawing. And then I was working on this. I asked Chris to come out to L.A., and we worked on this film. It was like me and him and this one Disney animator that didn't even know how to number his drawings. Yeah. If you worked at Disney, they apparently didn't tell you you should number your drawings. So anyway, I'll show you this sequence. Chris Garrison animated the super disturbing scene where his teeth are being ground down on the street. So look at this, playing off the internet. There you go.
That was wacky.
They put that in the movie too.
That was a wacky sitcom that Tom Green's character was pitching.
Yeah, the idea was like, how dumb did this network have to be to like give him the money to make that movie? So anyway, we worked on that, Chris Garrison and I. And then talking about other things we worked on. So Jody and another friend of ours, George, created a show, Megas XLR, that I directed, and we did 2 seasons of a cartoon. I'll show you the opening sequence and a scene from that, if you're not familiar with it. So the sequence we did at the Titmouse studio, the opening sequence and the scene was animated overseas in Korea, but we made all the decisions. That's the opening sequence, and if I can get to push a button correctly, I'll show you a scene. And this is like, I think we're one of these shows, where they didn't quite know where to put us at the time. We're kind of this like hitting too old of an audience for Cartoon Network proper and too young of an audience for Adult Swim. Now they got a lot of shows like that, but at the time we were kind of like, they were like, we don't know what to do with you guys. So here's like a sequence that I think kind of
explains why.
Yeah, digs into that a little bit. All right, here we go. I think if I remember in the standards and practices, we initially had her hit Kiva in the face with the staff, and they were like, that's too violent for television. So we couldn't
just
do
punch her, yeah.
Yeah, just punch her in the face. Although you never saw, that's why we did all those effects, because you never saw people get punched in the face. Look at that, another drawing. So speaking about like kind of science fiction-y car-based cartoons, at the similar time, like we were developing this Motor City, and I'll show you a very early, this was like the trailer to pitch the show, and then I'll show you a trailer from the pilot and then from the actual show to see how this evolved, so you can see how different the iterations were. So that was like the pitch video thing.
I want to see that show too. Why didn't they like that show?
Well, there's so many different things. Yeah.
Like we need it to be shinier.
Yeah. So then I'll show you a trailer cut from the pilot stuff. That when we did the pilot, the initial concept for the show is I wanted to be very Dukes of Hazzard-y, and oh, look at that, nice. And the kind of idea is that it would be kind of funny, and they'd be fucking with people like Jackass, but never like shooting at them. That it would all be like car action and not like gun violence and weapons. But then the pilot focus grouped, and they were like, the kids want it to be violent. Please add a lot of weapons. So then we added a lot of weapons, because if you're going to add weapons, why not add a lot of weapons? And so there was a sequence where Mutt, the car, they add some guns to it, and guns pop out. And then there's a sequence where the lead character, Mike Chilton, kind of, has his spark staff, which is the weapon we invented. He does this crazy jumpy thing that you'll see. So here you go. Otherwise, this is all stuff from the pilot. So that's the version that led to the show.
There was a couple of differences from the pilot.
Yeah.
Love's Dutch's name was originally Love.
Yeah, and they thought that the Detroit Deluxe looked too nice. There you go. Look at that. You set up your drawing. And then this is like what the show ultimately ended up looking like, which is pretty close to the pilot, but a little darker. Oh, I'm showing it on the wrong screen.
I'm a cartoonist.
Also, I got some Swedish fish from the green room if anybody would like.
Very good.
So that show ended up becoming much more of an action show.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
I always thought that your creation of Motor City, I've never asked you this, was maybe highly influenced by the racing and car cartoons of our youth, like
Yeah.
Wacky Races.
Oh,
and,
yeah, of course.
Auto, what was the Autocat, Motor Mouse and Autocat?
Yeah.
Remember them?
Yeah, all of those, for sure.
You loved those. Right?
Yeah, Speed Racer,
Yeah.
of course.
So you got to give them credit.
And not
Of
just
course, and
cartoon, live
Dukes of
action.
Hazzard. I mean, Dukes of live action stuff, and actually Enos.
Enos,
I
yeah.
realized is one of the ones that influenced me the most.
The other thing
That
that
was
was
a spin-off of
interesting.
Dukes of Hazzard.
The other thing that was interesting about Motor City was that was the first time we worked with something called face-nated heads.
Yeah,
Like we did this
That's
process
true.
where we had like these 3D modeled heads and we built them in Flash, and all those heads were modeled in Flash, and that made it easier just to make them keep everything relatively on model, and it was like a whole new process that we did at Titmouse.
we had to use a lot of efficiencies because it wasn't shipped overseas like a lot of shows. We animated all, in the United States of America, a little bit in Canada, in North America at least. So trying to come up with technological solutions to be able to like keep up the pace was good. So a little bit before that, Motor City, that kind of jumped forward. We did a lot of promos all the time, a lot of show opens, promos, things like that. And one of them we did for Nickelodeon was called Breakfast Time, which Chris Garrison was one of the lead animators on. So I'm going to show you Breakfast Time, which encouraged children to eat breakfast. You'll never forget to eat breakfast.
Apologies for the fact that you're going to be singing that for the next 3 weeks.
Man, when we worked on that commercial, I think
I sang it for the year
Yeah, I
following
think so, I
because
think so.
I had to. Every move I was making, I was like, "All right, he's going to say breakfast time," and I got to listen to this, and he's going to go time, and I would listen to it all day, every day for weeks.
So as we were working on Breakfast Time is when we were starting, believe it or not, to work on a show called Metalocalypse for Adult Swim. So I'll show you a little clip from that show if you're not familiar with it. It was the first Adult Swim show that we did. So the interesting thing about this episode, they're idiots and they're spending too much money. But this was the initial concept for this script was the only one that we ever rejected, like without even sending it to the network, because the two creators, Brendan and Tommy, were like, it's an Adult Swim show. It had a limited budget. We tried to do the best. A lot of the show worked because of the beautiful backgrounds. Our creative director, Antonio Canobio, just led such a good background team. And the initial concept for this episode was that all 5 band members were going to build more and more extravagant mansions that got more and more complicated and crazy as they went along. And we're like, we can't make it. We'll never be able to make it. Please, no extravagant mansions. So the compromise was they just put stuff in their existing extravagant mansion. That's an anecdote. That's doable. So let's see here. Where are we on here? So, and then, shortly after that is when we opened up the New York studio. And we had been working on stuff. I got a call. It was a weird thing. I got a call from a couple friends. Chrissy Karakis is a guy I worked with and was my neighbor in Brooklyn. He lived a block away from me, and we both worked at MTV on Daria. And years later, he created Superjail, and they did the first season over at Augenblick, which is a great studio. And Augenblick ended up doing Ugly Americans and couldn't do the second season of Superjail, so they needed a place similarly, they were working on Venture Brothers. They had I think we're wrapping up the 4th season, and I'd known Chris McCulloch in college, and through a bunch of friends, had worked with him at MTV and other places as well. And he called me up and was like, "We need a place to do Venture Brothers," and they were kind of like, "We need a place for Superjail and Venture Brothers. Will you open a studio in New York?" So it wasn't even my idea, but I like both those guys and I like those shows, so we started doing it. And that's when James came into the picture. We brought him in on Superjail. I'm going to show you a little. Going to show you a clip from Superjail, if you're not familiar with that show.
Wonderful.
The interesting thing about that episode, at some point, Adult Swim did a. You might know that television networks are funded by advertising, and there's a certain campaign called the Truth Campaign. That's an anti-smoking campaign, and they started funding a lot of the Adult Swim airtime, and they insisted that none of the Adult Swim shows show smoking anymore. So we were like, man, there's a lot of smoking in Superjail. So we kind of pleaded with the network, can we do one last episode where they smoke, where there's one last pack of cigarettes and they're fighting. I should have set this up before I showed the clip. But anyway, that's what that clip was about. They're fighting over the last pack of cigarettes. So anyway, and then similarly, I'm going to show you, that was a 4th season Superjail clip. I'll show you the very first thing we did for Venture Brothers, which was the, how is this? I want to make sure I got the right clip up here. Is this the jacket special? No, this is not. All right. I think they might have put the wrong thing on here.
Oh, just show them whatever.
Yeah, that's too long. I don't have the thing that I wanted to have. Anyway, we did, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Venture Brothers, but the first thing we did was the jacket special, which was in between the 4th and 5th season, which we animated all in-house, which we realized is a big mistake because Chris is very particular, and we're like, maybe it's better to ship this stuff overseas and not have him nitpicking everything. But I was going to show you that, but it's not on my computer. But I'll show you a clip from another episode, The Venture Brothers, which we're currently working on the season 7. So you'll see that in 2 years. I'm not kidding. So, speaking of New York City, I'll show you a couple clips. You know, sometimes you make stuff, nobody ever sees it. I'll show you a couple clips of things, early pilots we did. These were, this Worst Friends Forever was a pilot we did in the New York studio. It was created by Thomas Middleditch, who now plays the lead on Silicon Valley, if you've seen that show. But he, I'll show you just the initial, the opening scene. And he did all the voices of these 3 characters. It was kind of like, I'd almost call it like a female Beavis and Butthead. It was these 2 like, kind of like horrible high school girls and their best friend, in air quotes, that they just shit on the entire show. Anyway, Worst Friends Forever. I'll show you the beginning of it. No one's ever seen this. And I'll show you a clip. We did a pilot. Man, I guess this was maybe in the year 2010. Is that when we started the New York studio, James? 2010. For the band Major Lazer for Adult Swim, which isn't the one that they ended up doing for ADHD. If you saw that. Where's the Major Lazer one? There it is. So here's a little bit of that. The idea is we were really going for crude and dumb and funny. I think the one that they made ended up being a lot more slick, but I kind of like the one that we did. So I'll show you a little bit of that pilot. And there we go. Major Lazer. So that's so something that nobody has seen. And let's see. So here we go. We'll show a couple. So we do this thing. Actually, I'll show one more thing. Here, I'll show one more thing that hasn't been seen. This is a newer thing. This is a project that may be upcoming. We're doing it with. If you ever seen Invader Zim. This is all right. So look out for that in the future, and I want you to look out for something else. So we're doing a short film with James here, and we're going to show a little clip that that he selected from the film. It's called Blue Hilda. Do you want to talk a little bit about it, James?
Sure. This was something I came up with about like 10 years ago while I was still at SVA. And since then, I've just been trying to perfect it and trying to make it look better. And while I was doing that, I was trying to craft my animation skills. And when I got to Titmouse, I learned like, oh my God, I can do that with Flash? Damn. So as I was learning more about Flash animation, I started perfecting my project a little bit more. So I started boarding this back in 2014, and I approached Chris like, hey, what do you think of this? And then he was like, yeah, cool.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
No,
cool.
do your impression of me. I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, cool. This is really cool, man. So we're going to help you do this. I was like, really? Thanks. Because I was just asking him for input, but he ended up helping me, so I really appreciate the help, and it's coming along really
It's
good.
coming out great.
It's
As
about,
you will soon see.
Yep, I'm hoping to have it done by the end of the year. It's about 71% done. So here's a little snippet of it.
Do you want to set up what the character is or anything?
Sure thing. So the story is about these group of evil witches called Boohildas. They're green, long-nosed creatures. They're very ugly, and they're just nasty little buggers. But every time they die, they keep coming back to life with the wart of the previous Boohilda. But there's a little bit of a snafu. This time around, this particular Boohilda was brought back with a blueberry, which resulted into Blue Hilda, into a very cute, rubbery, off-the-wall kind of witch. So you're going to see it right here in this clip.
And here we go.
That's a little snippet of it.
I like the thumbs. Those were a good touch.
One of the traditions that we do every year is we do this thing called 5-second day, which came Shannon, my wife, who started the studio with me, who also went to SVA, had this idea that, like these animators are working hard all the time, tediously toiling away at cartoons. So why don't we give them a day off to toil away on their own cartoons?
Thank God.
So we shut down the studio and let the people make their own. Anybody, the animators, whoever, it's not just limited animators. Whoever wants to at the studio make their own film. And initially, we called it 5-second day because we thought 5 seconds was a reasonable running time if we're gonna. But then people would make like super crazy, long, ambitious films and team up, and they're really crazy. I'm going to show you a couple of Jameses right here. So this is probably an earlier one. Shows you more of the
2014.
Yeah, this is one that's like more along the lines of like, oh, you can expect someone to do maybe a film like this in a day, and then they get more and more ambitious. So here's one of James's right here. So speaking of these 5-second day films, as you can see by that setup, like, a lot of them are to like, see how far you could push it, and it's uncensored, so you want to, kind of maybe offend or surprise the other animators, and there's always a lot of like sexuality and poop and dicks and stuff like that. So one year Jody's like, I'm good. Why don't I let you set it up, Jody?
No.
All right. So Jody was like, I'm gonna make the penis film to end all penis films, right? Was that your idea? It didn't work, by the way.
Yeah, no, I saw that. They were drawing a lot of dicks. I was like, I know how to draw. I love dicks. I should draw dicks. So let's have some dicks. That was the whole philosophy.
The premise.
Yeah, and the thing is, you guys probably, haven't gotten that great of a sense of Jody's, voice. Talk a little bit, Jody. Say some sentences.
No.
All right, so that's Jody's. Basically,
I am. I'm the chirp.
Yeah,
at the end.
Jody is the chirp of the
There you go.
titmouse bird. But a lot of people think this is Jody doing his own voice in this, but this is one of our animators, Parker Simmons, doing an impression of Jody.
I'm the
in
other.
this.
You'll see who I am.
Yeah.
Spoilers. There you go.
So there you go. I think now is when we'll open it up to questions.
Spoilers. I'm not actually very sorry at all.
My just request for the audience is anybody who does want to ask a question to the panelists is come on down to these microphones. We've got one on this end and one on that end. Line up in a semi-orderly fashion.
And anybody who asks a question could get one of these drawings.
Until we run out.
That's an incentive to ask a question.
If there's still questions and we run out of drawings, you can have some Swedish fish. How's that?
Okay, I think we'll. Looks like there's a small line forming over there, but I think we're gonna start over here. Go for you in the black shirt first.
How you doing? I'm a huge fan of Titmouse Studios. I want to have an internship this summer. I'm a second-year animation student, but any tips for getting an internship?
There's a check it out, right? I'm gonna do this. Look at this stuff, right? This is gonna be crazy if I can pull this off. All right.
I don't
check
mind
it
looking
out.
at Swedish fish. I don't mind.
So we'll see.
It's just as
the
good as
internet
Swedish
works
fish.
here. Watch this out. Like I think you can do this. And is that the one? Oh man, is our website too confusing?
Oh no, not at all.
There's something you can do. Oh, internships. There it is. You click that and you fill this stuff out. But what you should do is put somewhere, there's a thing somewhere where I think you could put notes or add something and say that you asked me about this at this panel. And that'll put you to the top.
I'll take note of
But
that.
there it is. Internships right there on the website.
Thank you
Mouse
so
.net.
much.
Yeah, no problem.
Career / internships.
Yeah, exactly. Look at it. There you go. The URL. Come and get your drawing.
Thank you, Chris. I'll take my drawing. Can I have the Superjail one?
We had a Superjail one? I can be the drawing passer. How about that?
Nice.
There you go.
you so much.
Good luck.
Thanks for your
Let's
question.
go to the other end now. The far end.
Yes. First one in line on the other end.
Hello. I wanted to know more about Major Lazer and how come you couldn't show that episode?
Well, it just all had to do with the rights. I think we made that, and then the option ran out, and Adult Swim didn't renew it. And then one of the guys who was at Adult Swim ended up leaving and going to Fox to ADHD, and then he decided to buy the option to make a cartoon. So that one was in this limbo of like, well, Adult Swim made it but can't show it, and ADHD wasn't going to buy it from Adult Swim, so they made their own version of Major Lazer.
So then your part is at the beginning, like you made the first.
Yeah, we made the first one that no one will ever see except for you guys.
Thank you so much. It was beautiful.
Right on.
Next in line on this side.
Hi. I just wanted to say, you guys, I love your work, and you guys are radical people. So, I was just curious, what are some of your favorite projects you guys have worked on?
Why don't you take this one? I don't want to answer all the questions.
Well, my first job, Superjail, I loved working on that. I loved Motor City. We actually worked on a Ninja Turtle special last year called Half Shell Heroes. That was so much fun. And we actually, my other favorite project was DreamWorks' 2D version of Home. Check that out.
On Netflix right now.
So good. We got some more cool projects coming on, but I can't tell you what they are. It's a secret.
Thank you.
Here's a drawing. Get an elephant.
Hi, wow, that's loud. I'm a first-year animation student. I just want to say, first of all, that Superjail is what made my childhood end so short, because I watched it with my sisters when I was like 8, and it changed my life forever. In a good way, I love Superjail. But I have a question for all the people from Titmouse. Who do you like more, Alice or Professor Girlfriend or Dr. Girlfriend? I'm asking for my sister.
You have to like Alice. Alice is a guard. And the warden has a major hots for her.
I prefer Dr. Girlfriend.
No, it's Alice. It's always been Alice. Alice doesn't live here
Lord
anymore.
on the VH1.
Do you want to go?
That's the only line I know of hers.
Hey, do you remember Christy giving the note of like never
Show her
draw Alice's
genitals.
like, to look like genitals? Always draw them like
Yeah,
a
no,
weird
when we were
like
on
octopus
season 2,
or something.
he was saying
Yeah.
like, yeah, guys, so just make it a little more ambiguous. Don't make it look obviously like a dick.
But he wanted it to look weird, like it was an octopus
It
or
was like
whatever.
a bunch of grapes.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, make it look like you don't know what's going on down there.
It's a mystery.
Undecided is the answer. It's a tie.
Dr. Girlfriend,
I agree.
come collect your winnings.
We'll take next in this line.
Hi, I'm way too
you go.
tall for this mic, but I really love what you guys do, and I'm a first-year animation student, and I'm just sort of wondering, what do you guys look for? Like, what's a piece of advice you'd give someone who's just starting off on this career path?
Study life drawing.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing in the world. Like, I love cartoons to death, but you gotta like look at life, like look at real people, because real people can tell you a story, and you can incorporate that in your cartoons.
This is Andy Gurnt, still teacher. He's an anatomy guy. He was real.
And
he was
Stephen
real tough.
Gaffney.
Yeah, take that class.
I just switched into Gaffney's class, so I'm really excited about it.
Nice.
Knowing life drawing will be able to help you transition. I mean, when you're in animation, you're going to do a lot of different styles, and if you have the framework, it'll help you go from one to the other.
Yeah, because you want to be able to wear many hats in animation. Like, you might have a very cartoony style, but you might have to lean more towards like a more semi-realistic style or something that's a bit more on the anime side. So just try to be more versatile when working with different animation styles.
Thank you. So can I have one of the octopus drawings?
Absolutely.
They're my
We'll
favorite.
see what's do. What?
It was
Zabadim? Bub.
Oh, there we go.
Nub.
Thank you so much.
Octopus operating a mech.
Yeah, octopus driving a robot, which I learned in life drawing.
Man in the white shirt over there.
Hi, my name's Brian, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi,
Great,
Brian.
yeah,
Wait a minute. Many of us are.
Thank you.
You're well on your way to becoming an animator.
That's half the trip. But the other, besides life drawing and then a damaged liver, those are your. That's the two.
Okay. I was actually wondering about Motor City. Like, the 3 drafts are drastically different. And I'm just curious as to, like, the time it took to cultivate the concept, mature it, and or just what was the evolutionary process like? How long did it really take to finally get something up? And
Man, it takes a long time. Development's crazy. Like,
Can I do a little footnote of this?
Yeah.
Like, didn't Motor City start? You had a dream about people
I did. It
riding
was
around
with-
in boxes.
started with
I
a
remember you
dream.
telling me this. I think we were like
Yeah,
at MTV Animations
Yeah.
back in the 90s. That's
Yeah,
how
I had this
long
dream about
process can
like
be.
these weird boxes flying around and shooting at me while I was driving around in a car. So that was the inception, and then the more crude test, the earlier test, which had the more like playful, cartoonier style, was I just animated a lot of that. Me and a guy, Louis Solis, who was he has a studio, Solis Studios, up in Canada now that we use a lot. Animated that thing pretty much ourselves, and in like a month or something. That's why it's so rough around the edges. And use that as a sales piece. And then once we got into development, years went by. Like, it was at MTV. It never went anywhere. I pitched it to a guy at Nickelodeon in, I think, 2004. And he was like, well, this is cool, but it's not for Nickelodeon. And then he ended up becoming an exec at Disney when they were doing Disney XD. They're like, oh, now we're doing action shows. You still have that Future Car show. And I was like, well, now computers, we can do the cars with computers because the computers are better than they used to be at doing stuff. And I don't know. That was kind of a meandering answer, but hopefully it's answered 7% of what you asked.
that was really good. And
All right.
I'm interested in the alligator. Is that possible?
We'll see what we got here.
I think we might have given away the alligator.
You're going to have to fight.
Do you have a runner
You're going to have to fight.
Battle for the alligator.
Whatever you got.
Whatever we got. Well, I was already
Whatever we
holding another
get.
octopus, so.
All right.
All
Here we
right.
go.
Thanks.
Nice hair, by the way.
And
Next.
do you have a preference, actually, which version you like?
That
The
was- you
pilot,
already asked
the
your question.
actual one? I really like the sketchy one.
Yeah, I did too. It would have been neat to make that one.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
next in line on this side now.
Hi there. My
Hi.
name's Kendra.
Hi.
I'm a first-year animation student. I was wondering, what was it like animating for Randy Cunningham, 9th grade ninja?
And he, you know,
I didn't work on that.
None of us worked on it. I worked on it as an executive, and it was pretty cool. I'll tell you what I did do was, I brought on Jonah Vasquez to do the character designs on that. And Disney was like, how the fuck did you get Jonah Vasquez to agree to do a Disney show? And I was like, hey, he just said as long as he never has to talk to you guys, he'll do it. And that's true. He just wanted to like never deal with an executive. And also he needs to work and get money just like everybody else. So it was cool because Randy Cunningham, they did a pilot at Disney proper, and it was kind of bland, and they brought the pilot over to us, and they're like, hey, we greenlit this series, but we don't like the premise, we don't like the characters, and we don't like the way it looks. But we're going to make 52 episodes. Can you figure out how to make it better?
Why did they greenlight it if they didn't like
Because
any of that?
they like the creators, and this is they actually said this, and we like the name Randy Cunningham, 9th grade ninja. We like the title. We think there's something in there. Initially,
There was a hook.
Yeah, initially the ninja, he didn't like being the ninja. It was like a flip premise where it's like he just wanted to do high school stuff, like ask the girl to the dance, and he's like, ugh, I gotta fight in this ninja costume. And Jed and Scott, I give them a lot of credit. They realized, like, when we were working on the series, they were like, you know what, he should love being the ninja. That's way better. He should love doing that. And that kind of flipped the premise and made it, made the show really work. So none of us animated on it. We did the pre-production, and we actually
I was
shipped
on
that.
the same floor as them.
Jody was on the same floor.
So I can say we would.
What was that like?
Yeah.
It was amazing. You can't even we would get coffee and just talk about bullshit, and that was just, amazing.
Come get your drawing.
Do you have one that you remember that you like?
The bratwurst.
Oh, bratwurst.
The bratwurst. Bratwurst.
We'll take next on the next side, other side.
Oh, wow. I've never talked in a mic before, so this is a new experience. So how was work on Legend of Korra?
Well, we just worked on the video game part of Legend of Korra. And I know those because I actually worked on Avatar, the first season of Avatar. We did the main title at Titmouse, and I supervised all the character layouts. So I was always trying to push people to make them more dynamic and whatnot on Avatar. When it came back around to Korra, we were, they did that at Nickelodeon proper. We were well on our way, but when they needed to do the video game, they wanted it to look cool and stuff. And the video game, I never played the video game. I don't know if the video game is any good, but we had a lot of fun working on the cutscenes. It was fun. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank
How
you.
was your first microphone experience? That's our
Pretty great, actually. I feel like I would talk in a microphone more often if I
Nice,
got the
yeah.
chance.
Doesn't it feel
I
good?
could
It is
walk
really
around
fun.
with a microphone every day.
It's
like,
totally fun.
talking in people's ear.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, there was some kind of I guess it was a toy or some kind of novelty item called Mr. Microphone. That it was like the late 70s or early 80s, and there was a commercial where people would drive around and shout at people through a microphone, and that was the whole thing.
Hey, good
That's
looking,
all
what's
they did.
cooking?
Exactly. That's the kind of things they'd say. Hey, we'll come back to pick you up later. That's all it was. It was a microphone.
No, what it was it was
and an amplifier.
No.
It went through your car radio.
Right.
Yes.
You tuned it. It would come through on a low frequency on 88.9 or whatever and you would turn your radio on, and you drive up and say, "Hey, good looking, be back to pick you up later," and then you drive off, and the girls are like,
That's
"Oh."
it. He has a microphone. Was the draw.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I had a talk boy.
Yeah, see, one of my Christmas wishes that I never got was a T-Pain mic. And yeah,
Yes,
that was
there's a long tradition of microphone products. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you for the opportunity.
What drawing would you like?
Come get your drawing.
Anything? Anything? I'm gonna surprise you. And I'm walking up with it.
Ooh.
Just so everyone knows.
That was my least favorite
The
one.
people who are standing at microphones right now, we're all gonna get to you and your questions, but that's when we're gonna have to cut it off, unfortunately. So we'll go to you next.
Hi, I was wondering,
No problem, you got
who were your guys' favorite teachers when you attended SVA? And I was also wondering if I could make a drawing request.
I'll answer your second question. Yeah, you can make a request, sure.
Something Venture Bros related, because it's my favorite animated show. I love it
We'll
so much.
try. But anyway, who wants to talk about their favorite teacher? All right, I think you're getting no on the request.
No. I actually, my favorite teacher was Howard Beckerman.
Beckerman.
He
Yeah.
was great because like he kind of pushed in my head about like real acting. He would say like, people nowadays just do this. Hello, Joe. How are you, Fred? Yeah, no, their mouths are just moving. They're not doing anything. Just their mouths are
Still
moving.
there?
So I just wanted to like just focus more on like having characters actually move around when they talk rather than just staying in one spot for so long. So he influenced me in a big way.
But he would never use the names Joe and Fred. He would use
Irving.
Melvin and Irving.
All right.
Hello, Irving. I'm just standing here like this, and now what's going on, Melvin? You gotta have some animation and some movement.
I know.
Can you draw the Venture Brothers?
Man,
We never
try
worked
and
on-
draw
none of us worked on
Brock, maybe. It might take a while.
There you go. Yeah.
Let's get another question in the meantime.
We'll make sure we get that to you later. I'll go with the gentleman who's in first in line over on that microphone.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
I'll give this a shot.
Freshman year animation student. Really love the stuff you guys make. Hope to work for you one day. So I was just kind of wondering. I'm currently working on like 3 different pilots. I don't know why. And I was just like kind of wondering if you had any advice for like the production of a pilot and then like how to pitch it.
Well, working on, I'd maybe say don't work on 3 at the same time. Maybe focus on 1 that you really want to do. That might be a good way to get there faster. And yeah, just think about the production of the pilot's the least important part. I'd say just try to come up with a character that you really like that you think can sustain 100+ episodes and something you're really passionate about. Jody, you got anything to add to that?
Well, that's how we sold Megas. Was I was sitting with George and I was like, you know what I really want to see on TV, and this is a true story. I was like, I want to see a big fat screaming idiot driving a giant robot. and
there you go.
From there, and that's if you can boil your premise down to like a single little sentence like that and expand off it, they like it. So yeah. Basically, I'm saying draw fat idiots driving giant robots, because that's what I specifically
And I would assume also that try to do the thing you want to see, not what you think people want to see, because you're going to have to be drawing it all day, every day for who knows how long.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And be a little flexible in that, too. Like that's why you keep your premise down so simple, because they're going to have changes in mind. They're going to ask you, hey, instead of this, can we have that? And you got to ask yourself if it's deviating from that core that you wanted to have, because you should be willing to have some leeway.
Yeah, don't fall too in love with your thing. If
Make
you've
it
got a
fresh,
thing that you're so in love with, don't use that thing. Use that as your little indie comic or your thing you draw in the back of your notebook. The thing you want to pitch is the thing where you're ready. If they say, it can't be frogs, it's got to be birds, you're like, all right, it's birds.
Because you're selling it to them, and once they've got it, that's...
Yeah, once you sell it to them, they own it.
There's a reason you never see with me with Mega stuff anymore. It's just cartoon. There you go.
Thank you.
Come get your drawing.
It's Brock with a warden hat.
Oh, very nice. There you go, Venture Brothers. Do you have a drawing request or random?
No.
And he's fine.
All right.
Random.
This new one. First in line over here.
Yeah. Hi. I'm also a first-year animation student. I think there's a lot of us here. We're just really excited. How would you say, like, SVA, specifically the animation department, has changed since your time being here?
It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, it seems like there is
I don't see
one.
too many people using lunchboxes anymore.
There wasn't a first-year animation. There was no first-year animation when we went. It was like either we're a film student or a media arts,
yeah.
which I don't even know if they call.
I came in through media arts, and you went through... I came in through media
Yeah.
arts because it was the cheaper of the two.
Yeah, so you didn't
And I
even
was fucking
start
broke.
animation classes until your second year, and I think there were like 7 of us in our graduating class. So it seems like it's a lot bigger.
We only
now,
had
too.
one working Cintiq way in the back.
We didn't even have a Cintiq. We had a guy, you know who, you guys know who this guy, Sal Petrosino is? You know that guy? He was a guy who worked in the cage. He was a guy where you go up and be like, Sal, can I get my equipment? And he would, you'd write your name on a sheet, and he'd be like, don't give me the shitty animation disc. with the loose pegs. Give me the good one. And he, maybe he'd give you the good one, Sal. And now he's like the guy in charge of everything.
Well, maybe the biggest change is we shot all our shorts on film. And we had
film.
to shoot on the Oxbury.
It was a
In the
crazy
snow.
Yeah.
The
Uphill.
Oxbury
Both
was
ways.
nuts. Yeah.
It was
I was
a
one day, it
huge-
was shooting over the weekend, sleeping in this Oxbury room, real small, like a closet.
Yep.
And my head was facing the door, and the janitor comes in to clean. He's slamming the door against the top of my head. It's the worst way to get woken up. I was screaming because it was just like, incredible pain. I don't know what's happening. I'm dreaming. That doesn't happen
Yeah.
anymore.
And while you're shooting in there, you got to have hot lights on, and it's got to be sealed.
So
Seal
hot.
under the door so no light will come in and mess up your shot. And then you turn big hot lights on coming from every direction, and you stay in there for hours and hours and shoot your movie.
Who was that? Somebody had their film in the can, and then someone came in and was like, "Oh, is that my film?" And they pulled out the unprocessed film. We're like, "Oh, "Why isn't there any? What's going on?" And they, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And you're like, "Oh,
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh my
Right on.
God, that's
I'm sorry for you.
little SVA history there."
Wow.
You're a
Nice.
more magnanimous man than I would have been.
Come get your drawing.
Is the bee still there?
The bee.
The bee
Right
is
there.
Yeah,
back
we
still
got the
there.
bee.
You got the bee.
In the boot.
We got the
got the
bee.
bee.
We got the
Next in line over there.
got the bee.
I don't know how close to get to this. Hi. It's so cool to meet you guys. When I was
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. One of the first shows I remember watching as a kid was Megas XLR. It was
I'm
like,
so sorry.
I loved it. But I was just wondering, what's all of your favorite aspects of the animation process? Like the actual animation or the storyboarding or just
I like
concept?
the creative process. I like the development because you're building a world. Like one of my favorite parts. One of the reasons I like being in the industry is because you're literally making universes with your friends, and that's something that's always kind of fun for me. That's really it.
Good one, Jody. That was a good one.
Great answer, Jody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Come and get your drawing.
Anything else? That was
Request? Random? All right. Next in line over here.
Hi, just curious, what's your favorite heavy metal band?
I like Manowar.
I like a Monomarth. If you know Monomarth, they're Vikings. I like King Diamond a lot. That was my first show. I saw King Diamond when I was 14 years old. You touched King Diamond?
No, we touched horns.
Oh, nice.
So
That
you-
counts as touching
yeah,
him.
you touched him, yeah.
Does Operation Ivy count? Is that more?
Oh, I
it's like a
enjoy Op Ivy. That's
crazy
not really heavy
ska
metal, though.
thing or something.
it's
but I liked it a lot.
I love Op Ivy too.
I like Death Clock.
Side point.
That's the answer he was looking for, probably. And you want a drawing?
Yeah,
You can have a drawing. That was a good question. I like a non-animation related question.
The one with the bird on the flag?
Bird on it? We might have already.
There's 3 left.
Oh, bird on.
Oh, yeah.
woman's
There's a
head?
bird on a lady's head.
Bird on a lady's head?
No, there was a flag and the bird.
Well, it's gone.
I think that
Sorry.
one's already gone.
It's gone.
Will you take
You're
bird on
getting
a
lady
head?
with
Fight for
bird
it.
on the head.
Find the person that
This is
has
the
to have to
closest we could
battle
get
for
for
it. Is the
No, I think someone else has already taken it. Oh, would someone like to draw the titmouse bird on it? Is that what you'd like? Yeah.
That's like
Can we get that real
Chris
quick?
Garrison.
Right on.
It's his drawing. He's
Is
Christian.
that all right?
Oh, what do you want me to add a
He
titmouse
wanted the
bird?
titmouse on there.
And where am I going to put it?
Any old where, but on the cloud.
I'll put it standing by her foot. Yes.
Right on.
Perfect.
I got to look at some reference. Well, I'll just draw my own
Yeah,
titmouse
just draw
that's
your own.
similar to
It's similar-
the titmouse.
It's going to be similar.
I'll take the next question on that side.
Yeah, I'm a first year too. It's kind of surreal seeing you guys actually here. Like, Motor City will always be close to my heart. The question that I'm asking is, do you have any crazy stories from when you were at SVA?
No.
Oof. Well,
Very uneventful time in our
Crazy.
lives.
What's a good crazy
I was about
one?
to say, well, I don't know if this is quite a story, but it was just always memorable for you, because we were just talking about shooting on the Oxbury, and Remember that time we were trying to get in there, and there was a poor lady who was She was shooting her film, and she was having some kind of minor emergency, and we were knocking on the door. What's going on? And she was saying, hold. I don't know if she was German.
I don't know. Is that methadone clinic still on this street?
Yes.
I once had to cross the street because there was a knife fight in front of the methadone clinic.
Yeah.
They were trying to stab each other. I didn't want to get stabbed.
Reminds me of the time I was on methadone and got in a knife fight outside the school. Yeah, you were there. I saw it, Chris. Yeah, that was fun. Good times.
And you guys used to have big 70s parties in
That was
in New Jersey.
that was
and
fun. We used to live in Jersey City. I don't think they let people live in Jersey City anymore.
They don't have
Do they
any
still
of the
have
kids
people
living
live in
over there?
Jersey City? No.
Well, they did then, and you would
They
have
did
big
then.
70s parties every year.
It was like a weird wasteland
What,
with like 2 apartment buildings in it.
Livonian
Now
Newport,
it's all
yeah.
built up.
Remember our friend, the student who, I won't say her name, I feel like I heard the story that she ended up passed out in your tub in her underwear all night.
Rolling around in glass. I remember that.
Oh my
yeah.
God! I never heard this one.
I didn't know about the glass part. That's worse. I thought it was good enough as a story without the
that's
glass.
Yeah.
She is an architect in Israel now.
Oh, nice. All right.
God.
All right. There you
An
go.
archaeologist.
Architectologist.
She's an architectologist in Israel.
All right. There you go. Stories. Come get your drawing.
I'll bring it over to you. Next question on the close side.
Hi.
Hi.
So seems like you guys really like what you do, and you enjoy your projects, right? I was wondering if there's any project that you would never work on, like even if they spread a bucket full of money in front of you.
What's it like? A hypothetical project?
What kind of project would you just turn down?
We've turned down a couple. I mean, we do turn down projects. One of them was this guy. It was really. I feel like hopefully there's no one who's a huge fan of this guy, because we just thought this project was a little too like culturally insensitive. There's a comedian who's like a puppet comedian. This guy Jeff Dunham. And they brought this project to us
And
about.
you saw what we
it's
didn't regard as too culturally.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I mean, we're not politically correct by any means. They just wanted to do this animated movie about his like terrorist character, but it wasn't fun. Like, there's a thing like if it's funny, like you watch South Park or something, and it's like you could pretty much offend anybody if it's funny. But I just didn't think it was funny. And they did have a lot of money, but we were just like, I don't think this is for us. And I think it did get made. I never saw it. I don't know if it was any good, But anyway, that's one we turned down.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like a drawing?
You want a drawing?
Because we got like 3 still here. We got it.
Are you ready
Keeps
to give
making
them
them.
away?
I guess we're here till he's done.
What would be a good title for this show if this was something? Dog Foo and Ninja Girl, James said.
That man.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
That man is not a man. He's a dog with a gun, man.
Okay, I like that.
Not a man. He's a dog.
Are you gonna?
She's a
title
ninja
it?
girl.
She's got a gun. She's the one with the kung fu. That's the hook right there. She's actually not
All right.
very good.
Is there one more question?
Yeah, we can start with the last question while we're titling the drawing for you.
Good evening, good morning. I would like to say first off that, thank you so very much for having such a vivid imagination. Imagination is just so important in life. It's like, people tap into the unseen, the unknown, and you're not afraid to push the envelope. You understand? And this is why I sat back here and I literally laughed with cramps in my stomach, because these are the things people may not put out there because of fear. But there's no fear when it comes to creativity. So I would like to thank you, and I commend you all for your contribution to the world.
I love this question.
Okay?
Wow. Yeah, that just sounds like
This is the highlight question of
like
the
a
night.
wonderful compliment.
My favorite question of the night.
This is my first time coming to a premiere like this, with
nice.
a question and answer, and to get to know who's behind it all. You know, Beavis and Butthead. I never used to get it, but the more I used to watch it, as profound it's just so hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so wrong, yes.
Yeah.
It's so wrong, but yes, so right. You know, so thank you very much, you know, for my childhood growing up. I'm going to, you know, show my age up here. But yeah, it was beautiful. You mentioned Doria. And I was waiting to see some of that tonight, you know, because I was always compared to her because of her stern look, you know, saying so much without saying, you know, without actually saying anything. And I would like to say thank you to Adam, Natalia, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Thank you so much for tonight. You know,
yay!
Together. You know, this is my first time meeting him as well. I want to continue to network. And can you please, my question is, how do I get in contact with you guys? Because I'm working on a public access show called Matter Hatter Pro. And it's all about innovators and people that's behind the scenes that no one really knows about. And this right here is a prime example of what my show is all about. I'm the producer, and my host is up here. That's nice. Mr. R.J. Arnold up here.
I believe.
And, you know, just let us know and everyone else know. And congratulations to the students. I wish you well on your journey. Okay?
Yay.
We need more people like you in the world. Okay? Yes, the question is, how do we get in contact with you?
So I'd say the same thing when I put the website up for the internship. You can go on there as a contact, but say that you were here and you told us, and that'll put you up to the top of the list when we go through it.
Just remember my name is Jennifer Allen, a.k.a. Carmel Farrell.
All right.
That's how you'll remember.
You sat through our deranged ramblings.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot. And I forgot, there's one more clip if you think people can stand for another 3 minutes of cartoons before we shut down.
Come get your drawing.
That sounds like
get your damn drawing.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Worked hard on this.
I'll pass it on.
So this one clip I was going to show and then I forgot, but this is from the new movie that's coming out that we did called Nerdland. And this is a scene, you know, the movie starring Paul Rudd and Patton Oswalt as these kind of idiot assholes who want to become famous. And Hannibal Buress is kind of their mentor. And this is a scene where they decide that they you know, in order to become famous, they need to become serial killers. And Hannibal Buress has this this videotape of extremely violent footage that they need to watch in order to steel themselves to become serial killers. And I got a bunch of different animators to work on the scene, like Bill Plimpton and Peter Chung and Christy Caracas and numerous other independent animators to animate shots of extreme violence. So that's part of this sequence here. And this will be the last thing.
Wasn't that cute?
So to go back to your question about what you think we feel like, what we refuse to animate because we feel like it crosses a line. Not that.
That's it.
That made me want to see all those movies that those clips are taken from. So now you got to make like 100 more animated features.
Thanks, guys. This was amazing.
Thank you for putting this all together.
And
was it Kunawa? Oh, in New York it did, in this very theater. Yeah. Right on. That's right. Yeah, in Tribeca. Yeah. And I think it's gonna be released in December. Samuel Goldwyn is our distributor, so it'll be coming out soon. Yeah.
And what was the other thing? Something's not working. 5-second animation night. We've done it here the past 2 years, so probably do that again hopefully in March. It's like $5, $10, something like that, and it's like 3 hours animation. So hope you guys come out to that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you guys for sticking around. Be safe on your way home. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a great night.